Hello everyone and welcome to a pretty exciting video. This is the air poll for our challenge packs. We'll be deciding which of these wolves we want to continue on with, either one of the pups or potentially Moxie herself. But we're going to be starting by taking a look at the pups and their challenges. And first up we have Clover, who was the 3F member of the Swift pack. You can see she has the genetic black coat. And these really pretty kind of orangey goldeny eyes. They're quite striking. She has also the small dot here, and just as a quick note, if you want a summary of this information and the details about each of these wolves, you can also find a link to a document in the video description that will let you take a look at a spreadsheet that has all of this info nicely laid out for you. But let's go ahead and we'll listen to her howls. Slight bit of a higher pitched one, and then for her secondary. Oh, that's a much deeper one. And then, of course, her ears and her body, except for the possibility of the radio collar, none of these show up normally. However, if you're a member of the Patreon, you'll have the chance to find the post for this video and comment ideas for different traits. Maybe Clover got a torn ear from something, or has like a particularly fluffy tail. You can comment your ideas on the post on Patreon, and if any of them jump out at me, will potentially include them as a part of this wolf story. You'll have to see. But that is a fun thing for those of you guys who are a member of the Patreon, supporting the channel there. And then, of course, for her stats, she's got that +1 strength, -2 stamina, +2 speed, and -1 health. So she takes after her mom quite a bit, being pretty fast and a little bit strong, but not as much stamina and not as much health. So that's kind of fitting for the Swift pack. And here is her bio as well. Now, as for her challenge, she can only use wooded dens, and she must never back down from a fight with a cougar. Of course, we had lots of trouble with the eagles, but we did also have some issues with cougars at the rendezvous site, or at least one in particular that almost got kind of bad. So that is something that Clover will have to deal with. She'll potentially be facing off with some cougars. She likes to have a medium-sized territory as well. She's got kind of a medium flea load. It does bother her, but she's not unwilling to put up with it. She's pretty scared of eagles considering everything that happened, and she really doesn't like cougars. She's also kind of average in confidence, a little bit more on the social side, and not super energetic, but not lazy either. So that is Clover. She is our first option, and next up we have Mayhem, and oh my goodness, he's just got such a striking coat. This is the 831F in the cool coats, and it is a very cool coat, a little bit of this redishy brown one. Once again, a genetic black coat, which makes sense. I think all of the puppies have genetic black coats here. It was probably about a 50-50 chance for Moxie, and considering we had 5 pups, this is pretty normal. Not quite the strange luck that we've had with Puma in our stream series, which you can watch at JZX535 on Twitch if you want to see more of my WolfQuest content. We go live most weeks from on Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to 8 p.m. PST, so there'll be a link to that in the description as well if you want to check that out. But as for Mayhem, he's got a little bit more goldeny eyes than his sister. They're a little bit more yellow, and still very pretty. But let's go ahead, we'll listen to his howls. Once again, a bit of a higher pitched one, and then for his secondary. Once again, a deeper one. Now, of course, he's not going to have any customizations here, except he didn't get the radio collar, but you will have the chance to submit ideas on Patreon once this poll goes up. Now, let's also look at his stats here. So he's pretty neutral, honestly. He does have -1 stamina and +1 speed, but other than that, the others are 0. And, of course, oh, he was 2M. Okay, I guess I just had him out of order then. So, yeah, I think was it 2F and 3M who were taken? Yeah, I think so. Oh, I'm still so sad about that too. The eagles this litter were just absolutely awful. The new attacks are really scary, and I think just like his sister, that has given Mayhem the quite a fear of eagles. He is pretty scared of them, and he does like to have a medium-sized territory. However, his challenge is that he actually can't use dens or rendezvous sites except when he has to complete quests. So he has to be on the move for the entire playthrough. We'll choose a den and a rendezvous site when we need to, and then leave them immediately and spend the entire year hiding in the grass patches around the territory and not making use of dens or rendezvous site, which will keep us safe from the floods, but it's going to introduce a whole host of other dangers. Mayhem is a pretty bold wolf as well, and he's kind of got average sociability, but he's also a bit on the energetic side. Now, we can't actually see these traits, so when I'm talking about this, I'm just talking about kind of what I feel like these wolves have gravitated to and how I intend to play them. But that is Mayhem, and next up, we're going to be taking a look at his brother, Buck. So this is the 4M member of the Swift Pack. He has actually an NPC coat. You can see as we scroll through here. He doesn't have one here, but this is based off the 911M coat, I think. According to the wiki, at least. That's what the WolfQuest Wikipedia page told me. But he also has a black coat. And he's got really dark eyes, so we saw quite a range of eye colors pop up through this, from very, very bright yellow to gold to this much deeper brown. It's really cool, but let's go ahead and we'll listen to his howls. And we got that classic original howl, and then for his secondary... Ooh, that's a little bit of a higher pitched one, kind of inverted compared to the others, with his primary howl being a little bit deeper. And of course, he's not going to have any of the ear traits. He did get the radio collar, but if you want to suggest other traits that he could potentially have, make sure you check that out if you're a member of my Patreon. You can find a link to it in the video description. For his stats, he's got neutral strength and health, but -2 stamina and +2 speed, which I think is a more dramatic variation on what Mayhem had. I think it's the same balance, but plus and -2 instead of 1. And that is Buck. Now, as for his challenge, he, true to his name, can only hunt buck mule deer, so it's a little bit of a more challenging story than Moxie's in that respect. We'll have to see how that would go. And I do have the note here that he was often the last to hide during predator attacks, so he is a pretty bold wolf, but average in sociability and energy. And he likes having a medium-sized territory. He does prefer wooded dens, as I think all of the wolves here on this option do, just due to how bad the eagles were. However, he's not as openly afraid of them as some of his siblings are, and he has a medium flea tolerance here, so he's, again, not overly concerned about it, but it will start to get to him in the end. Now, that's the puppies. Their challenges will all be played on challenging, as is our first... The first for all of our wolves, unless otherwise specified, will always be challenging. But there's one more potential wolf whose story we could see here, so let's go back and take another look at Moxie herself, of course. So she has the Mackenzie coat here. It's a black coat. She's got these really pretty yellow eyes, which I think it was Mayhem who had pretty close to that, with the others having more of a range. You can listen to her howls here. Yes, that's a familiar one. And then for her secondary... Oh, that's right. She kind of had the lower pitched, higher pitched as well. Now, she does have some ear customization. She's got the torn ear. She's also got a little bit of a bent ear. And I think, I don't know, she doesn't have the radio collar. She is a little bit of a fluffier neck ruff there. But the rest is fairly neutral. A little bit of a fluffy tail as well. But that's Moxie for you. You can see her stats here as well. +1 strength, +2 speed, -1 stamina, -2 health. Was that the exact same as Clover? It might have been. Either that, no, I think Clover had inverted stamina and health. But that is Moxie, and as you can see here, there's been a little update to her challenge. So Moxie succeeded on her challenge. She survived with 3 pups remaining, but that was on the challenging difficulty, and because she succeeded on the challenging difficulty, we do have a chance to revisit her story, but this time playing on accurate, which is a lot more difficult, considering that even the mule deer can be a pretty formidable challenge on accurate. So if you guys would rather see us continue with Moxie, then you have that ability too. And that's not to say that any of the wolves who aren't chosen won't have the chance to show up again. I'm sure that they will when it makes sense for them to be included in a poll in the future. We might take another look at them. But those are our 4 candidates for our next challenge story, which will be running at some point in the future, probably after a couple of rounds of Lost Tales. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Make sure to vote in the poll that you'll be able to find in the video description. And we will go ahead and wrap this up here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, or rather the air poll. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.